Welcome back to the channel, guys, and welcome to my humble little garage where you find me with my 2005 Mini Cooper S that I bought for my son, and we're going to be doing it up a little bit. So we've already seen it a couple of times on the channel. We've chucked on some new wheels and spacers, we've put some coilovers on, and even an exhaust just to give it a bit more oomph. But today it's all about changing the color of the car with a crazy wrap from the guys at Vivid. Now, why change the color? What's wrong with the blue? Well, absolutely nothing, except for the fact that 18 years in the Australian sun has caused a lot of paint damage. We've got some clear coat peeling on the other side that we need to address, and in general it looks pretty untidy, so we're going to fix that. On the back wall I have a roll of that Vivid Psychedelic wrap, and I'll show you the color in just a little while. And I will preface this video saying that I'm not a professional, so you're pretty much going to be watching an idiot trying to fumble his way through wrapping this car. But I figure that the panels are fairly straightforward on this. All the wheel arches and trims and all that come off pretty easy. So yeah, how hard can it be? So this is the area of the car which has been mostly affected by that sun damage. You can see along here that the clear coat has started to peel and chip away and basically look really untidy. Now, of course, we can't just lay vinyl straight on top of the chipped peel coat because you'll see all the bumps and ridges. So I've actually started to dry wet sand this area here just to smooth it over. And of course, if ever I did take the wrap off, the car would need a repaint at some stage. But considering the value, it doesn't make a lot of sense at this moment. So we're just going to wrap it, and I think that will seal it in, stop any further degradation of the paint and stop any corrosion that might be wanting to come in as a result of that. So we've already taken all the decals off the side. We still need to do the other side. We've got a few of the trims and mirrors being taken off, but of course all of this needs to be prepped thoroughly before we put the wrap on. But let's talk about the color, because I know that's what you guys want to see. The color is called Deep Space, and it's by a company called Vivid Plus, distributed by Vinyl Wrap Australia, and you can find those guys online. But this is it. Now, it's probably not going to look like too much on camera right about now, but it is actually a flip color. So it moves from a really dark blue through to a purple, even a bit of green, and then some bronze. So it's quite psychedelic and really deserving of that Deep Space namesake. To get the full effect, of course, you're going to have to wait until we get this car wrapped out into the sun so that you can see the full effect. But here's a little bit of footage with a bit of better lighting so you can see all those little bits of color in there as well. But I think it's going to look absolutely crazy. It's going to tidy the car up to no end. And on top of all that, I've ordered a whole bunch of blackout features. So blacked out grille, blacked out bits for the headlights, anything that's got chrome, things like the door handles, even the badging here on the back is going to be blacked out, and it's really going to look quite menacing with this dark Deep Space vinyl. Well, I think that's enough talking. I think we better start prepping this car. Let's go. So we're making really good progress taking all the bits and pieces off the car, all the trims, everything off the bonnet is pretty much done. But this is the kind of stuff that you're dealing with if you're dealing with an older car, so nearly 20 years on this one. I've just taken the rear window trim off here, and the amount of dirt and sand that's trapped underneath is just insane. Like, it's literally caked on. So I don't know what's happened here, but that's the kind of stuff that we're dealing with. Obviously, need a thorough clean before we do any of the vinyl. But that's all right, we'll keep cracking on. So as you can see, there's still heaps more prep to do, but I really want to get started. So we're going to start off with the bonnet. You can see this one is ready to go. We've got the headlights out, the scoop, the grille, everything's ready. So now what we need to do is give it a really good clean, make sure there's no dust or debris, then give it a wipe down with isopropyl, and we can finally lay the first bit of wrap down. Okay, now comes the fun part. I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but we'll give it a shot anyway. I know you're supposed to start from the middle, so we'll give that a shot. I've got my fancy vinyl wrappers gloves so that we don't leave any nasties. I've got my felt wrapped squeegee. So let's give this a shot. Here we go. Well, it's the next day now. I went late into last night finishing off this bonnet. Probably the most complex panel on the car. It has this mix of convex and concave curves. And the main problem that I found is that areas where it's like this, where it's sort of convex, there's actually too much vinyl. So you have to like squeeze the vinyl into a space where it doesn't want to go. It wants to fold up on itself and cause these pleats. But I found that just working it through with my thumb seemed to do the job, and it's all attached now and looking fairly good. I'm pretty happy with it. If my OCD gets the better of me eventually, I might end up redoing the bonnet, but for now it looks pretty good. The rest of the car should be a lot simpler and hopefully move on a lot faster, so time to keep going. All right, time for a quick update. I'm not talking about my haircut, which looks like he was a little bit aggressive. But anyway, let's talk about the car. Spent a few evenings now just to get this buttoned up, and we've got every panel covered except for the front and rear bumpers. So they're still to do. I've even started putting on some of the accessories, so headlights, windscreen wipers, door handles, mirrors, all that kind of stuff. But now we get onto the fun stuff. I've had some packages sitting in the garage for ages to make this car look even more menacing. So I'll show you those. So just over here we have some new LED taillights in that Union Jack theme. They have a startup sequence, they have sequential indicators. They're going to be really cool. We've got a new blacked out grille, the upper and lower pieces. And then over here we have blacked out headlight trims, some blackouts for the badges, door handles, fuel cap, and even some blackout tape for the window trims. But so far I'm so happy with how this is coming together. The color on the wrap is just amazing. Depending on where you look at it, like if we go down the side here, it's this amazing bronze, moves to a purple, then a dark blue and dark green here in the shadows, and then back to this kind of purple and bronze over the bonnet here. Absolutely stunning, and I think the white sets it off really nicely. Now, I do have some work to do with these. These are sort of the chrome side gills here, and because they're chrome, they're really hard to paint. I don't want to sand them down. So I've actually bought some plasti dip to go on that. But I'm not sure about the red S's. We need a highlight color that kind of matches this crazy wrap. I don't know, like a toxic green or a pink or a blue. Leave a comment down below. What do you reckon should be the highlight color for the S's here on the side and also on the badge on the back? So when it comes to putting your fenders back on the car, do yourself a favor and go and pick up a bag of clips. I picked this one up from eBay. It's a few dollars. There's like 123 pieces in there. Most of them for this car, some I don't think are. But most importantly, it has these little gray ones which go on the back of the front fender. The problem is when you go to remove this, a lot of these break. They're getting old, they're getting brittle, and the design of them is really stupid as well. So grab yourself a bag of spare ones, and that way you won't get held up when you're putting the car back together. So as far as my first attempt at wrapping a car is going, I think it's going okay, but I've just hit a massive speed bump, and that is with the bumpers. It's official, I hate wrapping bumpers. They're too complex. They've got angles on this side and then that side, and the vinyl just wants to all like bunch up into 1,000 creases, and it's horrible. But I think it's all down to my technique, and being a novice, of course, I didn't know any better, but I watched a couple of YouTube videos, and I think it's all about the initial stretch. And the reason that I couldn't do that is because I took the bumpers off the car. So as a hot tip, leave the bumpers on the car, or take them off, take all the little bits and pieces, all the lights out, and then put them back on the car, at least for the initial stretch of vinyl, to make sure that it sucks itself onto all those weird angles. I'm going to show you the rear bumper and show you exactly how it's gone so wrong, and to the point where I'm actually going to redo it now. But yeah, if you're a professional rapper, I suggest you look away now. All right, let me take you on a tour on the tragedy that is the rear bumper. But first, let's take a moment to appreciate these awesome Union Jack taillights. They have come up an absolute treat. They look awesome at night. I'll show you that a little bit later. But on first inspection, the rear bumper looks, yeah, kind of okay. But it's when you kind of come down to this level and you look into this little gap, you can see all little creases where it's bunched up. That's not good because that's visible, but it's down here where the real disaster happens. You can see that the vinyl has been torn and overstretched, so it's lost its pigment, lost its color, and of course you can see all the way through to the paint underneath, and the same on that side there. And the problem is there's just not enough vinyl material to fold all the way under and then all the way across the top here as well. So I'm going to be redoing this whole bumper. I'm going to remove all that vinyl. Fortunately, I have enough to do another one, or have another attempt at it, I should say. But before we do that, I think I'm going to try and get some inlays into this section here. I've got some cutting tape, and so we're going to do it nice and neat underneath so you can't see it. And then when this comes over, then there's no need to have these awkward stretches all the way around. So that's the plan. We'll see if it's going to work. Wish me luck. That might have been a hasty decision. What I thought I had as a spare in terms of the wrap is actually not enough, and now I've taken the wrap off the bumper. Oh no. I have to decide now whether I can, you know, kind of like fix it and do the big stretch and make up that difference, or if I order another piece and for the time being just kind of make a patchwork quilt out of it. I stuffed up. Nope. All right, let me think.
The next morning.
Well, it's the next day, and I spent many hours into the evening last night kind of staring at this, trying to rack my brain on how to actually make a bad situation manageable. As you know, we didn't have enough material to quite cover the bumper, so we do have some patches on the ends. But the good news is that the work that I did around the inlays, that actually worked out really well. Using that cutting tape to do a nice clean cut around the edges. It's not perfect by any means, but it is a technique that I can refine and use again in the future. Basically, the upshot is that I need to order some more meters of the vinyl so that we can redo this rear section. But for the time being, I really want to get the car back together. I've kind of spent like 8 to 10 days on it, just working in the evenings after work to get it to where it is. And we really want to take it out this weekend. So I'm going to reassemble this rear bumper, get it onto the car, give it a bit of a clean, and then we'll get some glamour shots for you. Well, after many days and many long nights in the garage, the project is finally finished and the Mini is wrapped. The transformation is complete, finished off with those blacked out highlights, and I managed to find a roll of forged carbon wrap somewhere tucked in the garage, which I used on some dash trim pieces. And I think that looks really good and cleans up the interior nicely. So it is time to reveal it. It's the moment you've been waiting for. But before we do that, here's a reminder of what it looked like before. And now, this. So there we go, guys. I hope you've enjoyed watching the transformation of the Mini as much as I've enjoyed doing the project. I've learnt so much in the last 10 days. And of course, by no means is the car perfect, and there are parts that I would like to redo. So if you're a professional rapper, here's my call out to you. Leave me a comment below. How do I improve my techniques? Have you seen something that I've done completely wrong? Please let me know. I'm always keen to learn more. If you've enjoyed the video, give it the old thumbs up and consider subscribing if this is the kind of content you enjoy watching. It really helps out novice YouTubers like myself. But that's it from me. I'll see you in the next video.